Today we're going to be talking about the 5 greatest wrestling dynasties / programs of all time. 5, we got the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners were one of the most powerful collegiate programs in the early 1950s and mid 1960s. Great coaches at the time, including Port Robertson and Tommy Evans, and they had one of the best wrestlers of all time, Dan Hodge. A perfect 46-0 record while he was there, and had 3 NCAA titles from 1955 to 57. Wood had 4, but freshmen were not allowed to compete, which was in 1954. Overall, they had 7 team titles at the NCAA tournament, 273 NCAA All-Americans, and 67 NCAA champions. Number 4, we got Iowa State, located in Orange, Iowa, and produced a number of top wrestlers in the decades, including Cael Sanderson, who had a perfect 156-0 career from 1996 to 2002. Which is probably their best wrestler of all time. They also had Dan Gable, if I'm not mistaken, but their best era was for sure right after the Sooners era ended in 1965 or 1967 up until the late 70s under the command of Harold Nichols, great coach over there. Overall, they won 8 NCAA team titles, just edging out the Sooners. And then they had 294 NCAA All-Americans and 69 NCAA champions. Most notably, right now, their best wrestler is probably David Carr. Guys, at number 3, we got Penn State. They first won their NCAA team title in 1953 at Rec Hall, but then just a few decades later, 2011, finally got one more NCAA wrestling team title. And then up until 2011 too, most recently 2019, that whole entire span has been Penn State winning, minus for 2015. I think they tied or they lost that year. But has some great wrestlers, great coaches, including Cael Sanderson, wrestlers such as David Taylor, Bo Nickel, Jason Nolf, Chenzo Joseph, Roman Bravo Young, a recent wrestler who's doing pretty good there. And overall, they've had 214 NCAA All-Americans and 41 individual champions. Number 2, this may come to you guys as a surprise, but we got Iowa. A great program, great recruiting, and great coaches. In the past 45 years, they've had great coaches, like I said. Gary Kurtemeyer, who won them their first NCAA championship and their second. And Dan Gable, a great wrestler from Iowa State, who racked up 15 team titles as a coach. And then his immediate successor, Jim Zaleski, who won 3 more national titles. And then now under current head coach Tom Brands, who has added 3 more NCAA team titles. Might have even won in 2020. But it was canceled, so we will never know. But overall, 23 total team titles and 329 NCAA All-Americans, as well as 63 individual NCAA champions. Great wrestlers right now, most notably Spencer Lee, probably Austin DeSanto. Tony Cassiope is also a great wrestler at Iowa currently. Number 1, we got Oklahoma State. It's been probably a dozen or 2 years since the Cowboys have won an NCAA team title. But in the past, they have been real dominant. Great coach, Ed Gallagher, up until the World War II. And then also Art Griffin was a coach there. And I think Pat Smith now coaches there, or John Smith, one of them. I always get them mixed up. But yeah, some great wrestlers over the times, including who could have been the GOAT other than Cael Sanderson. Yojiro Utake, great wrestler there. And the Smith brothers, also really good wrestlers. Overall, 34 team titles. They've won a title in each decade, except for, I think, in the 2010 to 2020 decade. But other than that, at least one title in each decade, starting from 1920. 462 NCAA All-Americans, which far surpasses the second closest one, which is Iowa with 360-something, and then 142 individual NCAA championships, which is just crazy statistic. But yeah, that's going to wrap up our video for the most dominant wrestling dynasties and teams / programs of all time. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and sub for more wrestling content like this. Peace.